So my face starts itching just when I start playing the song, you know. Anyway.
Just as the cameras go live.
Right. Just when the camera goes live, my face starts to itch, and I don't have I should just like have some sort of thing I can. Anyway, never mind. Something hanging off my guitar. Okay. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar, and they call me on the phone sometimes to say, "Hey man, what's your show about?" I say, "Well, it's about an hour." Our guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So if you want to call me up on the phone and ask me a question about how to play your guitar, care in feeding your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, you know, I'm here for you. How to play the guitar, of course, is a big thing, but you know, we could talk about a related topic like the guitarron, the guitarra, sitars, vihuelas, banjos, balalaikas, bazookies, bajos, sextos, bajos cincos. You could have cavaquinhos, you know, ukuleles and banjoleles and bandurias and bandolims and bandolas. You know.
Sax and violins on cable TV.
That's right. Yeah. Sax and violins. Tromboninas and trombones, pipe organs, piccolos, clarinets and clavinets and harmoniums and harpsichords and harmonicas, pixie harps, Jews harps, dobros.
Irish harps.
Yeah, Irish harps. Dobros, dulcimers.
Dobros and didgeridoos.
There we go, yeah. All those things and more. We're here for politics, world events, your own personality problems. You know, we're here, but we'll keep it clean. This is a family program. All right. So, I had this guitar on the show before. I was just talking to the Mr. T, our director, behind the console there. And I said, "You've had this guitar on the show before." And see, I can't bring a new guitar on the show every episode, you know. I mean, after a while. Well, I only have like 80 of them. I guess, you know, I do, though. I sell them and I get different ones. So, and there are guitars I have never brought on this show that I might want to play sometime. But I brought this one because I have ideas about spreading pedals all the way across the floor and dancing around on it. It's called shoegazing. It's an art form where you play the guitar, but you really push the pedals. And I have the key 9 and the mel 9 and the B9 and the C9. These are all electroharmonics, things that change the sound of your guitar.
We've seen those shows when you had a row of boxes in front of you.
Yeah. Well, I could do that for quite a while. If we could put the camera on a dolly, I could move quite a ways. But if we hooked them all up, yeah, I'm sorry. Not too tired for that. I have a,
And Mac Davis said, "Po' boy don't need electronics to make his rock and roll."
yeah, well, there you go. Well, yeah, I mean, he ought to know, but I mean, I would just, I mean, I like the electronics, but right now I'm plugged into an old loop station, a Boss looper pedal that I have, because it runs on a 9-volt battery, and I just put a new battery in it before the show, and then I had that plugged directly into my little Fishman loud box, and my little loud box mini. So, and then I have this here excellent little flamenco guitar from Spain, the pickup in it. And maybe I have a little too much reverb on there, but I like to play, I wouldn't say in a cave, but maybe in a cathedral. I had the gig in the sculpture court at the art museum before it flooded. I like the natural reverb of the stone floor and the high ceiling and everything. That's the sort of thing I like. By the way, it's called planting. When you play and then you put your finger down, like fingertips. Stop it. If I move this over a little bit, I'll be less in the way. They can probably hear me moving the mic stand at home. Anyway, yeah, so Cordoba, electric flamenco guitar from Spain. I mean, I like it a lot. I have two. Well, the other one's maple sides and back. This is some sort of exotic ziricote. It's a relative of rosewood. I think you can still get it legally, though. You see, it's still illegal, huh? Isn't that pretty? Anyway, I like it a lot. I like this guitar so much. I have two, and I keep thinking, wow, I could, if I save up, I could get another one. I could have three with another, with another kind of size and back, rosewood or that macassar, whatever, ebony. It's a kind of it looks a lot like this actually, but anyway, never mind. I mean, this one and the maple sides and back one sound very different to me, and they're both fun to play. If I had to choose, I'd choose this one, and I guess I had to choose which one I was taking with me. But I've taken the other one on the show before. I'm sorry, I'm babbling incoherently. I went to two guitar shops. I went to West Music and the Musicians Pro Shop today, and I hung around and wasted people's time and played things, and tried to find peace in my. I think I told somebody I call it chasing sound, like waking up in the morning and trying to figure out what you want to do. To chase sound, chasing the sounds you want, which I always think is a lot better than other things people could do. Like gambling, drugs, or violence, or becoming a corrupt politician, for instance, or something like that. So
Or puking your money away on the Ped Mall.
That's right. Right. Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't mess around with that. So.
Should we mention where you'll be this weekend?
Well, this weekend I'm going to be at the Tuscan Moon both Friday and Saturday night, and I think the weather may moderate to the point where I'll be on the patio again, which would be nice. And I'm hoping to get my special lights. I have last year we figured out some lights. I went to Menards, I think, and I got some LED spotlights in different red, yellow, and blue, and so I had those, on me. And then I have one disco light that we turn on late at night. So yeah, I'll be there Friday and Saturday night. I hope on the patio. If not, I'll be indoors. I've been starting closer to being on time. You're supposed to be there at 6, so I usually start at 6:30 or later. But I've actually been starting closer to 6, and sometimes I start at 6 or even a few minutes before. And then so I'll be there. And then I think I have a wedding on Sunday, believe it or not, another wedding. I'm kind of a last-minute event, but I'll be, I don't know what I'm doing myself this summer, but I keep getting these emails. People see, I'm the kind of guy that if you need a guitar player, for something in a hurry, I'm pretty easy to deal with.
Have guitar will travel.
Basically, yeah, because I have guitars, and the different types that you need for certain things. And if I didn't have any kind of personal problems, they wouldn't impact my ability to show up at somebody's wedding, or something, or banquet. I just show up and play. And some people have issues. My issues is I want more guitars, but at any given time I'm going to have one.
So if people look at All Things Guitar Tom on the internet, they can contact you.
That's right. And they can, if they need a guitar player. I've had this one wedding that's kind of driving me crazy because they keep sending me more music. So I think there's a conflict maybe between the bride's mother and the kids are getting married. So the mother wants like a classical, like a faculty recital type of thing with the classical guitar and cello duet. And the bride and groom they want Elvis. Wise men say only fools rush in, like that, and they want a Flaming Lips song. And I'm not a big fan of the Flaming Lips, but Special K, you know who the Flaming Lips are, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are they any?
Sounds really negative.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You.
Of course you would.
Of course you.
Trash.
Well, you're a younger fellow. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm rather an old man, and Bob, he's even older. So, do you know who the Flaming Lips are?
I have heard the name.
Oh, see, well, he's ahead of me.
I'm not familiar with their music,
I
but
see. Well, I listened to the song that they're doing, and I'm sure we can work out a rendition of it. But
I went to a niece's wedding that had a disc jockey, and when my sister and her family came in, he played the Evil Empire theme from Star Wars.
really,
Yes.
boom, boom, ba, boom, boom, ba, boom, boom.
That's the mother-in-law song, I suppose.
I suppose, yeah. You could really mess people up doing the music for their weddings, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, the photographer could do terrible things too, and the videographer could, who knows? And of course, the preacher. I've been to a lot of weddings. One thing I've noticed is it's usually one of the guys standing up there in the rental tux who falls over and passes out.
Yeah.
It's seldom. I don't think I've ever seen a woman do it, but usually a tall, skinny guy goes over like a tree, and whoever. Yeah, well, whoever's a doctor, you know, in the audience there will go and check to make sure he's breathing and everything. But there must be something about the shock of it all.
Well, that or someone throwing up there. That's.
Yeah,
I used to watch that funniest videos on TV, and that was an awful lot of it. There was always some guy getting hit in the crotch that won.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of weddings where someone would faint or someone would barf.
This is what people think is funny for some reason, right? I'm a fan of the Three Stooges, I guess, having Curly gets a saw dragged across his head, and then his head's okay, but the saw is all bent up. It's like, anyway. Doing that planting again. I think we got to come to the interview portion of the show. I don't know. Can you
Secretly good doctor?
just see if you can get the doctore, and then of course you're going to have to fill up time while we, Anyway, I'm, as you may know, I'm having a new. We're reformatting the Tom's Guitar Show. We're going to try to evolve to a higher form of primate or whatever on Tom's Guitar Show this summer. And one thing we're going to do is try to have an interview portion. So last week I interviewed my son, and this week, if we can find the good Dr. G, Doctore G, we'll interview him. He's our executive director. And so as we do that, and then we got to figure out some way how we can waste time. Well, he gets in position, and I get in position. Yeah. We're going to put the camera, well, I don't know where we're going to put the camera on. I'll,
Studio B now?
yeah, I got to go over to, I've got to wander over to Studio B, and I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do that. We should have,
Kinda.
well, we sort of had a plan last week, so exit, stay. Okay, here I am in Studio B. Hey, Doctor.
How's it going?
Gerardo, you were,
Yes.
this is Gerardo, our executive director here at PATV. More than a mere functionary. I give.
Our other director?
Well, give him a hard time, but he's.
Yeah.
We should interview him one of these times too.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, well, wait a week or two so you can. Anyway, I'm sorry. So anyway, yeah. So you're the executive director at PATV, which of
Yes.
course is a nonprofit organization, and
501c3.
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not about a year ago, you were working on my show.
I was volunteering, yeah.
Then look what happened.
And then you asked me to be part of the board, and then there was a job opening, and I applied, and you hired me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I was part of that, right?
Yeah.
So if you mess up
Yeah.
bad, it's on me,
It's
isn't it?
on you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's your fault.
Yeah, anything you do wrong is my
Yeah.
fault because I championed your. Well, so far we're going pretty well, I think.
Things are good, as far as public access, PATV. It's nice to be part of this community and continue with our mission, which is what I was hired to do, fulfill the mission of PATV. Most importantly, provide access to people who want to create content and express their ideas and put on whatever they want on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what we've been telling people for a long time. Bob mentions this frequently on the show that if you don't like what you see on TV, you make your own TV show, and we welcome people to. You learn how to work. I mean, okay, anybody can make a show with their phone, right? But they put it on
Yeah.
YouTube, but that's the phone, and it's
Right.
shaky and everything. Here we have the professional staff and cameras and lights and tripods. Thank goodness for tripods.
Yeah, state of the art, equipment, green screen, and the likes. Yeah, so it's one thing that I always tell new members who are learning how to produce their show is, it's really your eye, your creativeness. It's that art that you bring to the camera that you'll see. So you could take a corner from the studio and create wonders. With the equipment we have, and really,
That's what we're doing right now. We're
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 one of the
creating wonders
corners
in the
of
corner.
studio,
Yeah.
and here we are, Studio B. So, and it's free. It's public access. It's free. It's like Bob always mentions. You can create a show if whatever you like. We actually don't censor, and it's part of our mission to provide that free access, free expression, free speech.
Right. And of course, the laws have changed as far as like the whole deal. We are. Some people don't know we are a cable TV station.
Yes.
Mediacom. So
Channel 18.
Channel 18. So we are just like all the other stations are funded somehow. We're funded somehow. Things are going to change a little bit, and we're going to probably try to kind of pivot and evolve over the next year or so. We've been talking about that quite a bit. I think it's interesting. Maybe we can have more public input and see what we want to become. And as I keep nattering on about this interview portion of the show, I'd like to get more. Well, I want to interview somebody every week,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're the second.
Well, and you mentioned something that's important to understand. Our contract with MediaCom, and actually our contracts with the city. The MediaCom has a contract with the city then contracts with us to provide the channel, provide access to people to use the studio and our facility and our equipment and whatnot, so they can produce shows. That's coming into fruition at the middle of 2018. Things will be changing as far as contracts and whatnot. We have a wonderful opportunity to continue, and which we are going to continue public access. We are going to continue with our channel 18. But in doing so, we realize what other needs do our community, what other needs are important in our community. And one thing we've been throwing around is the idea of creating not just a one media center, because right now we have this TV as a media. Why not create a multimedia access center, so that people can create other content, not just TV?
Right.
One of the things we've been working on is the streaming, the live streaming. We've been working on that for a couple of years now, creating more of that content, more web-based content, more social media-based content, and maybe other type of technology-based content that we could create with what we have already here. Maybe just expand a little bit and transform into a multimedia access center as opposed to just a television access center.
Right. I think things have changed quite a bit too, because I know that when I started here in the 80s, when it was by a different name, and that was 2 buildings ago, there I think people watch TV a lot more.
Yeah.
I think people are doing other things more.
Yeah.
And video content, and I think we can do sound recording too.
Right. Exactly.
But there's more of that than ever. But it's just that there's the actual sitting down and watching TV. Because I ask people how much time they spend actually watching TV, and I think a lot of people spend a lot less time.
And more people are streaming their content on TV, through their televisions at home.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily buying cable anymore.
Right. They're cutting the cord.
They're cutting the cord, and there's a great number of people who watch their content on their computers, on their devices.
Yeah.
On their mobile devices.
It's VOD, video on demand too, because people don't want to wait around for your show to come on. You want to watch it when you want to watch it.
Right.
And if you want to go and stop it and make a sandwich, then you can stop it. You don't have to worry. So, I think we're going to turn into something else here.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful opportunity, and that's a great idea of asking our community, what needs do they see that maybe we could also incorporate in this multimedia access center, and invite everybody to be part of this.
Yeah.
We've got a great number of people, and most, if not all, our community is very supportive of what we do here. The city's been really supportive over the years, and the community, our producers, our members, very supportive of public access, our mission, and our purpose.
Well, that's what I'm going to try to get people on to talk to me about it, and people can watch at home, and yeah. Well, I was thinking about interviewing Bob, but I talk to him every week, so.
Yeah, well, you can get him on a chair. That'd be different. He's always behind the camera and with his behind the mic, but get him on a chair.
Well, maybe someday.
Yeah.
He's
got history. Definitely.
He has a history.
Yeah.
Bob does. He's been on the show for a while, but.
That's why we try to hide my face. Too many people know my history.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody was. When I go to Hy-Vee sometimes, there's a guy who works there, and he knew you from a previous job you had, and he always.
We worked in the same building for several years.
I see. Well, he asked me how you're doing. So.
I see him, almost every time I go to the Hy-Vee.
Okay. Well, he asked after you. He doesn't ask after me to. No, I don't want. It's okay.
It's a good example of what PATV is, and our community. And we bump into each other at Hy-Vee and other places. And we know
it
each
is
other.
your neighborhood network.
Yeah.
Well, it is your neighborhood network, and the thing is that there really isn't a local television station except for us. And this is pointed out, this is a long time ago now, but there was a tornado that came through town and blew away some buildings and, like, you know, ruined St. Patrick's Church, for instance. So it was actually not too far away from here. But we managed to hold on to our electricity here. And so the local Cedar Rapids TV stations mentioned that there was this tornado. But one of our guys here who had a show, who was a kind of more like a shock jock, he stayed on, and he told people where they could get, you know, like help and relief and so forth like that.
Disaster relief.
And, yeah, disaster relief. And he actually remained on TV through the night, and he was mentioned and highly praised by the city council.
Yeah.
And you know, and people for being the only television station that was on and could tell people things. We were, and so I mean, I think it's as a resource to have a television station, local one. I think, and we were talking about doing news programs. There have been news programs on this station on and off.
Yeah.
Iowa News and Views, I think, was one of them. And but this is a volunteer thing. I mean, there are staff people, of course, but there are also most of the production is done by volunteers
members,
who
right, in the community. Yeah. Again, Bob's a good example and great volunteer. You know, I've been part of this production for many years now. So.
And he's our liaison with SCTV too, because
Yes.
he's
senior center.
He's often seen at the senior center. So he's been added for. You've been in the video world for quite a while now, Bob, haven't you? You've been on my show.
Yeah, well, I've been on your show for, since '05, I think.
Yeah, okay, 12 years. we keep doing it until I get it right. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it strikes me that I first started taking workshops at the predecessor of PATV in 1987.
At the library?
Or no, maybe it was 88. Yeah, at the library. Somewhere among my effects is my little card that punches all the things I studied so I could be a full-fledged producer. And so it's been almost 30 years that I've been doing this.
Do you remember all of that?
I remember some of it, but you know, it was tape. And so
Well, that and the equipment's all changed several times just since I've been coming.
Right. Yeah.
yeah, well, quite a bit, so. Yeah, well, times have changed, but I'm actually not that familiar with the equipment now. I have to take all the workshops again. I should. I think I'd know.
Well, you know, you're a staple in our community. Every time we go out to events and whatnot, they're like, "Oh yeah, Tom."
Yeah, well, sooner or later everybody sees my show. You know, it's like I'm the village idiot or something like that. It's like, yeah, well known. You don't have to agree, right? No, it's okay.
He agrees, in a good way.
Okay, yeah. Well, what more beloved character than the village idiot? Anyway, okay. Well, we haven't solved all the problems for the world, but I think we should, you know, get more input as to what we want to become.
I like that idea. You know, it's something, and we are a community-based organization, and you know, the public is part of, you know, our mission, and they have a voice here. So, and every November we have a meeting where we ask our membership and our local community to come and support us with any changes or suggestions and input on what PETV is and will become.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
And people can certainly come down here, and you know, well, they can come and ask questions to whoever's behind the counter, and they can sign up for the guidelines and become producer. And
At the corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette.
That's right, down by the tracks.
Yeah, right under Uptown Bills.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to find. Almost downtown.
It's considered a downtown district.
What they call it, downtown-ish or something.
Downtown-ish,
Block north of the county office building.
That's right.
We're calling it like the South Dubuque corridor.
Oh, okay. The South Dubuque corridor.
And the new South Dubuque, because everything's changing around us.
Right.
Literally, there's how many buildings going up in the past 2 or 3 months that we've had, and still coming. You know.
That's right. So when you go out in the morning, the mushrooms that just grew up around your trees.
They
Wow,
just
where'd that
come
come
up,
from?
Yeah, and right in front of us, right behind, on one
New
side of
ambulance
us.
barn across the street.
Yeah.
Right, that's going up really fast. Well, it's sort of like you go out, you come here, if I come here from a different direction than I usually do, I say, wow, when did that get here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or there's an open space, and you're like, wait.
Wasn't there something, I can never remember what certain places, it's just like when it's an attrition thing. I've been here I lived most of my life in Iowa City,
Mhm.
except for some time off for good behavior in France and in California. But most of my life I've been here, and I just don't remember what it was that was there on that lot.
Right.
And I heard about this like World War One. Your best friend you grew up with in a little village somewhere in England, gets blown up, and you forgot he was ever existed.
Right.
It's a survival thing. So
Yeah.
that building, I don't remember the building.
You forget about it.
Yeah,
Or you see something, that's not what was there last year.
yeah. What was when did that spring up? Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, I suppose I should play more guitar. But
That's what your show's about.
yeah, it's about guitars.
Yeah.
It's about an hour, but it's about guitars. Guitar playing, all things guitaristic.
Yeah, just welcome everybody who wants to learn more about PTV, ptv.tv. ptv.tv. www.ptv.
It's on the bottom of the screen.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Look us up.
yeah.
Get more info.
So, Mr. T, why don't you switch over to Bob, who will tell us something, poor Bob, put you on the spot while I go back to Studio A.
Studio A?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go to my office.
Well, gosh, what did we mention last week? That you see, classical guitar players don't change light bulbs because they won't touch anything electric.
That's right.
Sopranos don't change light bulbs; they just hold the bulb up, and the world revolves around them.
That's right.
And Tom is back in Studio A.
I'm back. It didn't take me that long really to get back to Studio A again, but yeah. Yeah, the old, how many sopranos does it take to screw in a light bulb? Only one. She holds the bulb and the world revolves around her. And then, And the classical guitar one, there are not a lot of classical guitarist jokes. That's a bluegrass joke about how how many bluegrass musicians does it take to screw in a light bulb, None, they won't touch anything electric. And then, of course, there's the Nashville songwriter jokes, which are, of course, used for other things, but, how many Nashville songwriters does it take to change a light bulb? Say, 5. One to actually, screw it in, and then 4 more to sing around about how much they missed the old one. And, anyway.
I probably better change mine. What camera's live?
That one. I'm serious about wanting to interview people from the community. Public officials. Maybe the police. This guitar does stuff like that really well, you know.
I was just thinking perhaps the Tribbles will have to become our version of Peter, Paul, and Mary. And whenever people see them, they know it's fundraising time again.
Oh, I see, yeah. You know, the Tribbles aren't really doing very well as a band anymore. We're down to a three-piece. And I've been calling us the Fretful Trio. So our instrumentation is, we have Ed on the mandolin, Donna on the ukulele, and she hasn't been singing in this incarnation. She's been singing elsewhere, and she's never sounded better. She's a wonderful singer. And I'm playing 12-string guitar.
I see.
And so we're doing all kinds of interesting things, and we're planning to have a show, and I don't know if we're going to do it up at Uptown Bill's live cablecast or over here. And maybe we can do it somewhere else, like in a park or something like that, you know, do some sort of a gig. But we're, the Tribbles, the six-piece band that we were, you know, it's not, people kind of drifted away, you know. Yeah. There are people who you know, of course, the thing about the Tribbles, the Guilty Little Secrets are all students of mine. And what happens is that, you know, we do our first principles. Here's some notes. Here's a pick if you use it or you play with your fingers. This is how you play the instrument. We work through stuff, and then they learn about chords and how to read music and how to play stuff, and then they get going with it, and then they get to play, so they can kind of play with me, you know, in the lesson situation. Then they get to the point where they can kind of play, you know, in
play
general.
Without you.
What?
They can play without you.
Yeah, and some of them do. And then, you know, and then well, they have to have adventures. Anybody who takes lessons from me has to have adventures, you know, so you're ready to play, you know. And it's true that there are people who took lessons from me and have played my little groups and things like that, and have gone on to be able to play, you know, with, you know, they're fully, you know, self-determining musicians. And so, but the Tribbles, you know,
which calls to mind the story of the bass student.
Oh yeah, boy, Dad signs him up for bass lessons, and he comes back first week. I said, "What did you learn?" Learn the notes in the fourth string. Next week he comes back and says, "What'd you learn?" I learned the notes on the third string. Next week he comes back at 4 o'clock in the morning, smelling like cigarettes and booze and stuff like that. I say, "Where you been?" I say, "What happened? What'd you learn in your lesson?" I said, "I don't know, you can go to my lesson. I'm in a band. I got a gig." Anyway, but well, my bass students they learn more than that. In fact, I submit that they should learn all the notes on the bass, or the guitar, or the mandolin, or the ukulele, whatever they're into. Sorry. Or the banjo, for that matter. But, you know, I mean, the thing about the Tribbles is they've kind of drifted off, you know. They're and I'm afraid I don't know if I'm violating a confidence, but the main ringleader is Donna, who's been on the show many times, ukuleleist and singer. And she has said that she'd rather be kayaking with her husband on the weekends instead of rehearsing, because we spend weeks rehearsing. Because, I mean, 2 hours of, you know, playing 2 hours outdoors and, you know, in June is, so I don't know if we're going to have I don't think we're going to play Trek Fest this year. We did it for like 5 years. We became the house band at Trek
Time to
Fest.
pass the baton.
Well, they might not even have it. Trek Fest is a little bit smaller every year. So it's okay. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. If the liquor don't get you, the ladies must.
Yeah.
I think that's how the song goes. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. If the liquor don't get you, then the ladies must. And it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. Anyway, I know the song. Yeah, the Tribbles. We should have a festival, though. We could have our festival here, like they do on public TV, the big fundraiser. Give them prizes, you know. Maybe we could have an event where you could get a chance to hit a guitar with a sledgehammer in the parking lot.
Yeah.
For Tom's Guitar Show. What do you think of that, huh? Mr. T, you like that one? You'd put $5 in the hat for the opportunity to do that, wouldn't you?
I mean, I'd probably put in more than 5.
Yeah,
Viewers, tweet your suggestions in.
that's right. Well, we're gonna.
Mr. T will put our Twitter address up.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Nothnagel, that's me.
He pities the fool that doesn't tweet us.
That's right. Well, to tell you the truth, my father, when I was a little kid, he called me Mr. T, or Tetzerlo, because I'm the John T. Dalfingo the third, but he called me Mr. T, because there was a song, an old song from like maybe the 30s. Oh, they call him Mr. Touchdown. Oh, they call him Mr. T, and so he called me Mr. T, and that was long before that the actor emerged. I pity the fool actor. Before we'd ever heard of him, before the days of the A-Team and those heady times.
Run and throw, couldn't he?
He could.
Just look at him go.
Yeah, give him the ball. That's right. I don't like this guitar. I love this guitar. I'm sorry. Let's hear it for C sharp minor. Isn't that just like E major? Don't bother me, man. Kind of drifted off into na-na land there, but at least I had fun. So, turn this down a little bit. That's probably too much reverb on the amp, but
Do they have other bands, like a dance band or anything?
not anymore.
Oh.
Trek Fest now. That was just us for the last 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years, something like that.
'Cause I think, Soul and Beef Days, or Beer Days, as it's more popularly known.
Yeah.
I think the main draw is, the beer tent and the dance bands Friday and Saturday night.
Right. Well, that era, I think, is past for the Trek Fest. The big deal was like the band, like threshing bands on Friday and Saturday night, and then they had, and of course the costume contest.
Yeah. Soul used to usually have an oompa band in the daytime, but
Now it's all rock and roll. Well, probably country.
well, they usually, it's mostly the dance bands at night are country.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they even have a band in the daytime.
Well, I hate
But,
to say
but
it,
those
but
dance bands draw a pretty good crowd
I suppose, yeah,
between them and the beer tent.
right. There's this thing about these bands, that, of course, in Kelowna they have Kelowna Days
Yeah.
and stuff, and they have bands, but
Well, Lisbon sauerkraut days.
really, I didn't know they had sauerkraut. I might go to that one, yeah.
Well, when I see the flyer, I'll bring it in.
Yeah, well, maybe I should interview who is ever promoting
They
that.
have bathtub races up at that. My son competed in that one year.
In the water, they put wheels on.
No, they have wheels on them. They got, I think it's 4 guys pushing it and somebody in steering it.
Oh, I see. No motor, huh?
No,
Huh.
no, they're human powered bathtubs.
I see. Well, too bad they can't rig up a bicycle built for 4 or something
Yeah.
behind it, everybody pedaling madly. And make sure you wear a helmet. That's right.
I'll bring in a clip, one of my Chinese New Year clips from Vegas sometime. They have a bicycle built for like 2 dozen.
Yeah. It doesn't crash.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's very efficient. I've never seen it move very fast. It goes at like a walking pace. I don't know if they could get it to go faster than that or not.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a guy who was telling me about this precision drill team where they had screwed all their right shoe into a plank.
Yeah.
And so there were a bunch of people lined up, but they had their right shoe screwed into this plank, so they would have to march
So they
together
all had to move the right foot together.
at the same time, and they didn't have it very well coordinated. And there was a lot of beer involved
Yeah.
in the parade, and they fell down a lot and injured themselves in some cases. But I've been to a couple of these smaller town events, and I could probably come up with an act, that would work out, but I don't know if I want to. But I've played at some of these things, but I've
I've seen a couple on TV places where they have precision briefcase drill teams and precision lawn chair drill teams.
yeah, and lawn mowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, souped up lawnmowers and things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would really like to tour the little towns and have my own sort of thing that I do, that's something goofy. Maybe involving a banjo or something. I could probably pull that off.
One of my grandsons usually competes in the water ball.
You were telling me about that, yeah. He did pretty well one time, I guess.
Yeah, 2 times he did.
Yeah.
The 2 times he was in the oldest year of that class, it's divided into age groups. When he was at the top of the age group, he won both those years. When he wasn't at the top of the age group, he didn't.
I see, yeah. Well, that's how it goes in
Yeah.
school. You can be a big tough guy in 6th grade. When you get to 7th grade in junior high, you're
Yeah.
low man on the totem pole. But, I get you. Well, we got a summer ahead of us, I guess. I haven't. Now that it's too late, I'm starting to think maybe I'm looking for things to do in the summers. I'm doing more of this college teaching thing, and so I'm on vacation. The 2 colleges I work at. I should come up with some sort of interesting thing to do for a small town. Some sort of electric, maybe some sort of electric banjo playing on a golf cart I can steer with my feet or something. Or something. It's a flamingo guitar, so I'll stand on one leg while I play. Right? Flamingo guitar, anyway. Actually, there's a woman who was in my ukulele class that I taught once, and she took that to heart. She worked as a clown, so she was a ukulele player. So she put her ukulele, she sewed this thing, so it's like a ukulele thing with a leg on it. So it was a flamenco ukulele, a flamingo ukulele. So anyway, I'll be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Make reservations. And I'll be back next week on Tom's Guitar Show.